Hello guys, welcome to another video. Now this one I'm going to be doing a little bit of a continuation on some discussion from a previous video that I made about life stacking using the new Apostate unique body armour. And if you missed that video, I'll link it in the description below. But this is a new body armour that's an exclusive drop from the Uber Cortex boss fight. It's one of the rarer drops from that encounter. Currently the crowdsourced data seems to suggest about an 8% drop rate for the Apostate, which would make this the Uber Cortex second rarest drop, behind the Rational Doctrine Jewel. Now, this body armour is essentially a core implementation of the Crimson power notable from the Affliction's Warlock Ascendancy, with the special modifier making the energy shield on equipped armour items grant maximum life instead. Armour items in this case means the helmet, gloves, boots and shield slot, so all of those items suddenly have potential to grant you massive amounts of life. In the previous video I discussed some of the potential for this item, and in this one I'm going to be looking at some more specific synergies that you can make use of. One of the most interesting things about the Apostate is that items that were previously considered to be mediocre options that perhaps wouldn't appeal to life stacker archetypes can immediately become more useful, since large chunks of energy shield on those items is turned into a meaningful stat. One such item is the Vertex unique helmet, which is an exclusive drop from the Uber at Zeri boss fight. Now, some life stacker builds use the Blood Magic Keystone, and those builds often use an Eternal Blessing setup to gain a permanent aura reserved for free at the cost of losing all of their mana to the Blood Magic Keystone. And a small handful of those Blood Magic builds actually don't use Eternal Blessing because they're playing with Relic of the Pact, which uses Essence Worm to bump up the reservation so that you can deal damage faster, and this ring disables auras linked to blessing supports. However, the Vertex is a very strong addition to Apostate builds that are not using Blood Magic, and I'd say that the loss of the 10% more life multiplier from the Keystone is more than made up for by what you gain from this helmet. The Vertex has a giant chunk of energy shield which exceeds 300 ES on a high roll of the increased evasion and energy shield and the maximum energy shield modifiers, so you can immediately gain a huge amount of maximum life just from equipping this helmet alongside the Apostate. It also has some nice chaos resistance there as well, which is useful, and +1 to the level of socketed gems. But the really strong tech here is that with the Vertex you can make use of a Divine Blessing aura for free, even if you have all of your mana reserved and you have no energy shield or you're not using Eldritch Battery. This helmet has the modifier Socketed Gems have 50% reduced mana cost. By linking an aura with Divine Blessing and Inspiration support, you'll have a Divine Blessing aura with a massively reduced mana cost. A level 20 Inspiration support reduces the mana cost of linked skills by 34%, whilst 20% quality improves that by a further 5% up to 39% reduced mana cost. You can find the remaining 11% reduced mana cost in a bunch of places, but most life stacking builds will have this covered already, since they'll already be speccing into the tireless life wheel on the passive skill tree, which provides a total 15% reduced skill cost. And the reason why I think this setup is so powerful is that compared to Blood Magic, where you get a single aura with Eternal Blessing and any other reservation needs to go against your life, with this setup using the Vertex, you'll lose 10% more life from the Blood Magic Keystone, which is impactful, but you gain your full mana pool to reserve against, and you gain a Divine Blessing aura on top. And by the way, since the aura has 100% reduced cost, you can fully level the Divine Blessing support for a large amount of increased aura effect too, since the added mana cost does nothing. I know that the Vertex 100% reduced cost tech was known before, as there was a bit of buzz around this unique item when Divine Blessing was first added to the game, but the Apostate just makes such a great use of this item by turning that big chunk of energy shield into life. Now, this next one is for those builds that are using Blood Magic, and are just looking to gain as much life as possible from each gear slot, and this one is especially synergistic with Dissolution of the Flesh. The Mask of the Spirit Drinker is a unique helmet which is exclusive to Alva's Temple. It drops from the Sanctum of Immortality, which is a tier 3 room, and this helmet upgrades into the Mask of the Stitched Demon using the Vial of Summoning. You've probably seen this one before, it's quite strong on Animate Guardians, but we're not interested in the upgraded version. The Mask of the Spirit Drinker has a very large amount of armour and energy shield granted from the increased armour and energy shield modifier and the flat added energy shield modifier, and with good rolls including quality you can reach up to 330 energy shield or more. But the crazy thing about this helmet is that it also has a big maximum life modifier roll as well, which can go up to 100. So in theory, you could gain 447 maximum life from just this helmet when combined with the Apostate. That is wild. This league, we obviously have incredible crafting potential coming from the graveyard, so a well-crafted Hubris Circlet is likely to beat this one out, since you'll also have Eldritch Implicits and Suffixes. But I'd say in any other league, or if you're looking for a budget option, give this helmet a look. As of making this video, you can pick up one in softcore trade that would provide at least 400 maximum life for as low as 1 Divine Orb. So that's a decent option to go for this league, and I think this one will be one of the best options in terms of raw life gain in future leagues. Do keep in mind that this helmet effectively disables your energy shield, which is why I said that it has synergy with Dissolution of the Flesh, which already makes your energy shield 0. However, most builds using the Apostate won't be scaling energy shield unless you're making use of something like Corrupted Soul. And speaking of Corrupted Soul and scaling energy shield, let's move on to the next helmet. And this one is kind of crazy if you can pull it off. Malachai's Vision. Now, many players may not even know that this item exists, because the only way to get this unique helmet is by corrupting a Vol's Vision helmet. And this is one of the possible outcomes from doing so. Malachai's Vision has some very interesting stats from the perspective of using this item with the Apostate and Corrupted Soul on a non-Inquisitor build. Inquisitors will be able to make use of Pious Path to apply their life regeneration stat to energy shield as well, but other ascendancies will struggle to gain any meaningful amount of energy shield recovery. This helmet has a massive chunk of flat energy shield, so with a good roll and the use of some tainted armour scraps, this helmet can provide up to 333 energy shield, which will be gained as maximum life instead when using the Apostate. Now comes the tricky part. Regenerate 400 energy shield per second if all equipped items are corrupted. So this modifier could grant a massive amount of energy shield recovery, allowing non-Inquisitor builds to scale a big chunk of energy shield from their maximum life using Corrupted Soul. But the catch is that all of your equipped items need to be corrupted, which is obviously quite difficult to achieve. Equipped items include everything on your character's inventory loadout, minus your flasks. If you're able to pull this off though, you have a pseudo Pious Path setup, with incoming damage being split between your life and energy shield due to Corrupted Soul, with good recovery for both resources. I'll also briefly mention the Crown of Thorns, which I already discussed in the previous video. This one provides access to Pain Attunement without the need to path all the way up to that part of the tree, and can reach over 300 energy shield with good rolls and quality. This one is also a really good corruption target, as there's a lot of decent helmet implicits to improve your build. There's so many options with the Apostate. I really like this new body armour, though I haven't got my hands on one just yet. I hope to be able to make a build with it sometime soon. And speaking of build, some of you may be looking for an update on the Doppelganger Flawed Refuge idea. Well, I was farming up gear after I migrated to Hardcore Trade League, and unfortunately I ripped my second character of the league. And to be honest, after making that video, I realised that to really do that build concept justice, I'd need quite a lot of very good gear. So that one is going on the back burner for now. Hopefully I'll be able to get around to doing it later on in the league, but for now I'm going to roll a new character, and I've actually been inspired by Rise QT's build from earlier on in the league, which is a life stacker using the Crest of Desire. So I'm going to be making a similar build, putting ideas from that, and depending on how it goes, I may even transition that character into the Apostate further down the line. Thank you, as always, to all of you, my patrons, for supporting this channel. If you'd like to join them and support what I do here on YouTube, whilst gaining access to some exclusive perks, you can find all of the information by following the link in the description below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.